We're
That's the way
live.
to say. We're
We made
live.
it.
Hello. We made it. Hello, Chris, Laura, oh, Richard. This is going really fast. Thank you for joining, everybody.
Yes, this is great. So I'm Dr. Laurie Marbas, and
Chef Martin Oswald.
yes, so I'm in the US, Martin is in Austria, and we thought you guys would enjoy a live cooking demonstration. You want to share with us what you got going today, Martin?
So today it's about low glycemic load foods altogether. And the idea is how can we get out of that brain fog? How can we avoid it? What foods do we eat throughout the day? So how can we support it food wise? And my plan was today to cook something for you live. This is my first live, so hang in there with me. I have no idea how this is going to work out. We hope for the best. It's my tiny kitchen in Vienna. But I think this should be exciting, helpful, interesting for everybody. It's a very quick dish. So the idea is while I'm cooking, Dr. Laurie Marbas can then also explain all these other aspects of how we can control blood sugar spikes, the exercises, the muscles, all these things I don't know about. Muscles, not my deal. So, so I think I can go a little bit and introduce the dish so everybody knows
Okay.
what that's gonna be,
Okay.
and then we move forward. How does that sound to you?
That sounds great. So if anybody has any questions along the way about the dish or about anything that I say, feel free to just put it in the chat here. I'll be monitoring that and we'll bring that up and answer your questions. So, all right, Martin. So what are we cooking today?
So today it's one of the most low glycemic load dishes,
Yes.
cauliflower. So that is, when you look at the glycemic load charts and it gets a 1 or 2, I mean, it's super, super low on that. And so you could eat that anytime and sort of manipulate your food. So one time in mashed potato puree, one time as a side dish, and you sneak it in and you combine it with potatoes or something, a little trickery to keep your blood sugar down, keep the brain fog at bay. So what have I prepared here for you today? We're going to make a risotto, and everybody knows risotto. I mean, this is just carbohydrates, and this is replacing the carbohydrates with these low glycemic foods. First, I have chopped cauliflower, 3 cups of it. So you can put this in a machine, you can put this, you can chop it by hand. It doesn't take much. The trick, if you were to cut it by hand, right? What you want to do is you cut it the first time very, very thin,
Mm,
and then it's much easier. Okay,
okay.
so as long as you cut the cauliflower super thin the first time, a job will be much, much easier. If you're cutting wide strips, then you got to chop a lot more. Does that make
Mm,
sense?
yeah. So chop up
Mm.
and all the way through the stem and everything.
The stem is key, of course, right? Because we got a lot of minerals through the stem. So we always want to use the stem. So that's a key.
Okay.
So I'm going to introduce a little bit the ingredients. I have some spices here. Can you see it here? Sort of.
Yep.
Okay, for veggie stack here, I have some onions here, beans, rosemary, lemon, and almond butter. Okay.
Okay.
Little spinach at the end. See how far we go. I'm going to get started here. I'll show you guys a super easy trick. So here I have a little spice blend, and this is mustard seeds, a little bit. Fenugreek, awesome. Fenugreek is the backbone of curries, so that's
Okay.
always good. And I got a little fennel in there and the little black pepper. I use a mortar and pestle. I'm going to show you guys this super quick. I just pound it down this way. I want to grind it a little bit, okay? What this does is it sort of releases the flavor differently because I have big chunks. Here, can you see it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
more chunks. So what's going to happen is when you actually eat the risotto, you're going to bite into one of them, and it's going to release the flavor,
Wow, I
which
can
is
smell it
hot.
from
It's like it's really intense flavor. Okay. So my pan I have heated here. Can you see it?
Yep.
I put this in the dry pan, nothing else. Okay.
Okay.
If you have, say, a Teflon pan at home or something like that, I'm going to spread it out a little bit. Okay, just so everybody can see it. I try to spread it out. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm toasting this just to get a little fragrant. Medium heat, not too hot.
Okay.
This will be too hot, and it's gonna right away brown on you. It's gonna turn bitter. We don't want bitter. We want
Okay.
flavor.
So just when you're starting to smell the fragrance, then you know you're right at the point you want it to be.
Exactly.
Okay.
So check. So this the nose will tell you how long you're toasting.
Okay.
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 And I have another trick. I have onions here today, so I'm gonna sear them first. Okay, and I'm gonna put them right.
How much onions is that? Is that a quarter
This
cup or half a cup?
this is like half a cup, half an onion, just
Okay.
diced a little bit.
Okay. A red onion?
Okay.
Yellow? Does it
I'm
matter?
sorry.
Does it matter what type of onion, like a red onion or a yellow onion or
For this kind of stuff, you always use the yellow onion because the yellow onion will help you to get a little bit more flavor. Okay, so the red
Mm.
onion has a lot more quercetin, but you want to eat it raw.
Oh,
And yeah, exactly right. So we want to. I just shave it over salad normally. The red onion is my salad dish,
okay.
but this stuff is actually just sort of for cooking risottos, cooking bologneses, cooking pastas, and all that kind of stuff.
Ah,
A
okay.
pasta, big pot cooking.
Okay.
Okay, so I gotta wait till this warms up a little bit. And I'm just gonna toast this a little bit more. So this is a cast iron pan here that takes a little longer, of course, to heat.
Okay.
But you're gonna smell it, and normally this process takes about 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
And this will be your chance to shine if you like that.
Well, yeah, let's talk. I think, first of all, just in case someone's not familiar with what glycemic index is, just really quickly, and glycemic load, what that actually is, and why we're choosing to cook this way is to really help with metabolic health, right? So, the whole point here, when Martin and I are working together in our culinary healing group, which I'll put the link below once this posts, is really understanding how to heal from the inside out, right? One of those things is giving it ease on your body. So when you remove those ultra processed foods and add in these whole foods, we are really changing how the body interacts with their food. And you'll see different responses in hormones and different things like insulin and things like that. So let me just jump real quick. Glycemic index and load, they both describe how carbohydrate containing foods affect your blood sugar, right? So basically, but they measure a little bit different. So when you're talking about glycemic index, it's really how quickly a food raises blood sugar compared to pure glucose, which is 100% sugar, right? So a high glycemic load food would be something like white bread, rice cakes. It might be ranking above, like in the upper closer to 100, where you have low glycemic, like for example, the cauliflower, lentils, things like that. That's kind of a lower, what we call GI, and that's a slower, steadier rise. But it measures the quality of the carbohydrate, but it ignores the quantity on the index. So now we look at quantity, which is really getting to the amount of carbohydrate in a typical serving you and I would eat. That's the most important thing here. So when we talk about glycemic load, it's actually more pertinent to us as people than what we're going to be eating. So that just tells us how much it'll be in real world scenarios. So for example, you basically take the glycemic load, you put to figure out the glycemic load, it's basically glycemic index times the grams of carbs in your serving divided by 100. And so generally, glycemic loads under 10 are considered low, 11 to 19 are moderate, and the 20 plus are high, right? So watermelon would be high, but its load on the glycemic index, but its load would be low at 4 because you're just eating a certain amount. So again, where you might be surprised, but the white rice though has a moderate glycemic index, but it also has a high glycemic load because you'll see that number be high. So anyway, that's just a very quickly explaining. But then the cauliflower is really important because that won't cause that really high quick spike, and you won't get this rise in your insulin at the same time. Insulin tells your body to store fat, tells your body, hey, we're processing some food here. We need to store this extra calories because tomorrow we may not eat. But it's not a bad thing. We need it. We need insulin, but we just want to be very careful about the foods we consume now are not the natural foods typically, right? We're eating those ultra processed foods. And so,
Exactly right. So I think this is a good time so everybody can see. There's a little cut on my hand now. I don't know. I'm gonna
mm,
hold this up a little bit.
nice.
But so you have those flavors come out super nice. The onions cooked really nice. This has been like 5 minutes. Do it your own pace. Some people like the water saute. I actually use it dry because there's liquid in the onions anyways. Okay.
Mhm.
So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put in my raised cauliflower. This is just cauliflower chopped down. Okay. And I basically start the cooking process with it from the onions and from the herbs so they don't, from the spices so they don't burn. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn this around a little bit and passing the cauliflower a little bit, give it a little good stir. And what that does is it gives it another roasting effect. Roasting is where the flavor is, okay? So we do want to roast our foods a little bit, a little more higher flavor there. And now I have a little rosemary there, okay? When I have rosemary, I like to actually put it in early and roast
Right.
it with the veggies
Right.
a little bit.
Okay.
Rosemary is not something you want to put on afterwards because it's, astringent. It just doesn't taste pleasant. You want to cook it a little bit, okay?
Okay.
And now I'm going to place that with veggie stock. This is just regular veggie stock that I make at home. Looking at the
Okay.
recipe in my portfolio.
So the recipe's on your Substack, which I'll put a link as well when we're done.
Exactly. This recipe is not out yet. This is going to come in the coming days. So what I want to do is I want to just hold my products here. Just right over it, okay? You don't want to make too much stock here because then you have to drain it off again, okay? Because to make a risotto, you want to have a little thick sauce, right? So it's like nice and creamy and
Mm,
stuff. Okay.
okay.
So I just covered it up and I'm gonna put my lid on there now. And I'm just gonna try to bring this to a boil. Cauliflower, like it always depends how small you cut it, cooks super fast, right? So
Mm,
like in once it comes to a boil within 3 minutes, 5 minutes, it's done. So it's gonna go very fast once we bring it to a boil here right now. So with that,
perfect.
I hand it back to you.
Yes, I think it's perfect. And someone is asking, will we get the recipe later? Is this recipe going to come out on your Substack or will you send it to me and I can put it on
This
the
is going to
post?
come out in the next couple of days in my Substack account.
Perfect.
And so I still, it's actually funny because I do a lot of intuitive cooking, right? So
Right.
I'm used to just put it in a pot, taste it, to fix it up, taste some more.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I was smart enough to pre-measure everything. And so in case, so what I see here, for example, right, I had these 2 cups of stock, but if I don't use everything here today, then I'm going to adjust the recipe for you guys and you have it close.
Gotcha.
Keep in mind, everything you cook, your product is going to be different. Your onion is going to be different. How hot you cook it is different. So this is more like a feel, smell, and intuitive cooking, right? So you want to actually educate yourself on just a few small things, a few small steps, and your world is coming so much easier. You
Yeah.
don't need to measure everything, right? You can just
Yeah.
progress through the dish, taste it a little bit. It'll be so much more fun to cook.
So this is, I think, a really important point here is the intuitive cooking piece of it. That's really the skill set you're sharing, especially also in the culinary healing group that we work do together again, which I'll put the link in the post when we're done here. So if you guys, you'll have Martin's Substack as well, link. You'll check out if you'll just go and subscribe, you'll get the recipes. I have people from so last night we met with our group or I met with the group and they're like, we're eating Martin's recipes. They're so good, right? And what's cool about it is we're removing the shackle to recipes, right? Because so many people are like, do you have a good recipe for this? I don't know how to do this. But the cool thing is you go into your kitchen, like last week when we took a box of my produce that I got from my farmer's market box and he went through and said, do this and that. And I did. And I was tasting things that were hiding in my kitchen that I never knew were there. So that's the cool thing when you pay attention to a few things like learning the herbs, when you put them in, how to do it. Like Martin's sharing all these techniques that he's gathered over 40 years of being a professional chef, which is incredible. Such a rare opportunity to learn from a master in the kitchen. It makes it so
Well,
easy.
thank you very much, right? But I should also mention that as chefs, we think typically completely different. We have sous chefs, we have chef de cuisine, right? So we
Right.
have 10 people around my kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's a different style of cooking. You use 3, 4 pots for every dish.
Wow.
And so I'm trying to adjust my cooking to a one pot cooking or two pot cooking and just make it like you can use it at home.
Yeah.
It's sort of like I'm taking my experience from these massive caterings and try to apply this for the home cooking. That's really the idea.
Which is really important. But what's cool about it is that Martin, I remember when I'd go eat at your restaurant in Aspen, and I'm like, "Do you have the recipe for this?" So good. He goes, "Laurie, I don't have a a recipe." I'm like, "Ah," right? And especially that risotto, you'd make this so good risotto. So I'm really excited about this recipe. But getting back to the glycemic foods, right? How we improve our blood sugar. That's one of the main habits that we're following on this culinary healing is managing your blood sugar well. And so, how are some of these habits besides the foods? You want to build that muscle, right? Because muscle is your glucose sink, right? So 80% of the food that you consume is going to be brought in to your skeletal muscle after you eat. Another cool thing is to understand your brain uses glucose every single day. So go ahead, Martin, what you got there?
I got kidney beans. Okay, I'm gonna put kidney beans in
Oh.
my so
So
really
your
good.
cauliflower and your onions are done, and now you're just adding on your veggie stock with the rosemary, the other spices, and now you're adding the kidney beans.
And they're ready for the cook, so I don't need
Okay,
to do it. I just warm them up.
got it. Okay.
And so we're gonna wait. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's how it's
Yeah. No, this is fine. That's how we go. Yeah, I don't know how the cooking's going, and I'll just fill in the
I
space
think
here.
the best is I finish this dish off right now, and then we
Okay.
can keep talking a little bit more if that's all right with
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, please. Yeah. This
because
is
I
our
don't want to
first
overcook
attempt.
it, right? So cooking
Yeah.
is one of the organic things.
Yes. This is our first
So
live cooking demo too. So it's all
unless you
good.
want to hold me back, I can hold it back. Okay.
No, 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 no.
Okay. So we have for those who joined a little bit later. Okay. So we cooked the spices first, then we cooked a little bit onion. We put cauliflower in that it was really finely chopped. Takes you bring it to a boil with veggie stock,
Yep.
and now I added my beans into it, and now I have little almond butter. So I buy that, but you can make it fresh. Takes you seconds, right? Cashew butter, whatever. And we're gonna make 2 tablespoons, good 2 tablespoons.
Wow.
Now, once I put it in, I don't want to cook it too much longer. It's gonna get nice and creamy this way. And I sort of finish it off now. I have a little bit lemon juice here. And sometimes I make a lemon risotto out of this. Okay, so look at this. Really nice squeeze. I like a lot of acidity because it cooks so low with sodium.
Okay.
So so this is 1.5 lemon right now. Let's see how that tastes.
So I never thought of actually taking the lemon and putting it over a strainer. And I always was like worried about the seeds. I would pick out the seeds and then squeeze lemon, but no, of course you could just put it over a strainer because that would make sense. That's amazing. I'm dying.
So I can see now a little bit how this sauce is thickening up. I know it's a little bit farther away, but
So,
if you're looking at it, it looks almost like a cream sauce already, like a light cream sauce. Okay. I'm gonna
okay.
cook this down just a little bit. I could add more almond butter in there, but then it's more calories. I don't want the
Okay.
calories, okay?
Gotcha.
So like I'm gonna add like now a little bit more rosemary in there. I have some lemon zest. I'm gonna put that in there. Okay. Hey, let's see. First I'm gonna taste it. I have one more step to it, but I'm gonna see how this tastes now, right? Did they have enough spices the first time in there, right? I need to critically taste this. And I think it's something that's getting lost with the internet world because we don't taste anymore. We don't smell anymore, right? So I always, when I do tasting, I smell it first. You want to just hold the nose there and smell it and try to identify what the flavors are. That's
Okay.
actually how good chefs do it anyways.
So you're basically
Right.
like a sommelier, but with a wine, but you're smelling the food and understanding
Yeah,
what's
yeah. So I can smell a little bit of that spice blend that I made. I smell a little bit of fenugreek, a little bit that mustardy, little fun law, but a lot of rules, to be honest.
Okay.
Okay, so I like the smell already. If I don't like the smell, that's the first warning signal. Oh, I'm gonna have to fix it up a lot. Okay.
Mm,
So it's something to think about, right? It's not, this is the time when the cooking becomes fun.
mm,
Okay, so mhm, you want to be very self critical though.
yeah.
Okay, that's the step where just pay attention of what it is. Okay, so sometimes like the cauliflower could be a little bit more bitter or something. So you're
Okay.
going to have to adjust it. Okay. What I'm
Okay.
missing here is a little bit of richness. I want it a little richer. I'm going to add a little bit more almond butter, not too
Okay.
much,
Okay.
but I can taste how that particular cauliflower is a little bit more on the bitter side. So just fix it up. Okay.
So
And
you're
again,
fixing it
this
up with
is where
the
cooking becomes fun. I have to find a spoon here.
so you're fixing up the bitterness of the cauliflower with the almond butter. Is that what you're saying there?
Yeah, I mean, it's the sort of floral fun. It's in the cauliflower, right?
Okay.
So it could be that the stems, they were pretty big stems,
Okay.
right? So I just got to fix it up. This is what cooking is all about, right? It's not like you see on Instagram that somebody puts a spoon there and oh, this is great, right? It's like, come on, I know you didn't even smell it yet, I mean, how can you tell me it tastes good, right? And we all have the same taste buds. Now, this is not me, an experienced chef. Each one of you who is watching knows that it takes a little time before you get the acidity, you get the little bitterness, you get the sweetness, to figure this out. The spiciness comes much later, many times before it's too late, right?
Right.
But that's what it's about. Okay, so I've adjusted that. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna mellow it out more with spinach.
Okay.
It also has like a lot more nutrition, so this is always good to add some greenery to it. Okay.
Yeah.
I could use Swiss chard, I could use kale, I could use anything, but spinach is actually real nice right now. It's gonna add me a little bit sweetness. I like that.
Mm,
But once I do, I don't want to cook much anymore. I want to
okay.
just wilt that in there, stir it
Okay.
through, and I'm done.
Okay.
Okay, so I put it right over this dish. Look at this. This looks beautiful. And I'm gonna just mix it a little bit in. I'm turning it off already. I don't wanna
Mm,
cook it anymore. And I want this spinach to just slowly melt into my dish here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's good. So that really changes the dynamic of the dish. If too much liquid gets soaked up, all you need to do at this stage is add just a little more veggie stock. Okay.
okay.
Very easy. So look at this. Dinner is served.
Wow.
Don't cook that too much because I think what the most everybody makes a mistake in cooking is they cook pasta exactly those whatever 7 minutes it says,
Right.
but they don't take into account that it's still gonna stand a minute, 2 or 3 or 5 before somebody eats it.
Right.
So,
Right.
so you
So
always, when you cook, you always have to take into account that okay, it's gonna be so many more minutes before I get to eat the actual dish.
right.
And therefore, this spinach is actually, can you see it? This
Yeah, let's
spinach is
bring it
just
up.
perfect right now.
Oh
You see
wow.
it's
So
nicely wilted in there.
that bright green color.
Yeah, it's super, super chlorophyll coming out right there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
hello. And so then I could add like more walnuts now. I could add,
Oh.
you know what, I have really nice. Have some sunflower seeds.
Oh.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. These sunflower seeds have been gently, gently, gently cooked so I don't destroy the fats on it. Okay. So you don't
Okay.
roast them too hard because
Okay.
it destroy the fats and the
Yep.
nutrient will get. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this right over here. Oh yeah. Look at this. So this gives me additional texture. So
Okay.
when I bite into it, the sunflower seeds have been seasoned differently, right? So you're gonna taste something there, and then you have another flavor there, another flavor there. So that's gonna be super nice.
Yes.
Um, what else
Mm,
can I do? I could put goji berries over there. I can put choke berries over there. I can put aronia berries over there. there
Wow.
is tons of, don't put the raisins on there, for crying out loud, right?
Not the American raisin again. I didn't even bring it up. You brought it up this time.
But I think goji berries and stuff like that to sweeten
Mm,
it. So then you have for this extra nutrition, you have then the oxidants and the flavor, and it's really gonna make it go over the top when you put it that way. Can you see it? You can see it.
yeah,
I have to
bring
show
it
you
up
one more
here.
time. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, that's
You jealous? You're
fabulous.
gonna fly in for a quick dinner here? How about you?
Yes, I want to come now back. It's like a 30-hour trip to me to get there. I'll be there tomorrow afternoon.
Oh yeah, yeah. I keep it for you for sure. Don't be in my belly long, you know.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think this is fabulous, right? Because that took us less than what, 10, 15 minutes max to bring that dish that's delicious and very healthy. What's cool about your experience is that you're saying, yes, there's these taste elements, but also how to cook it and keep, retain the healthy benefits, the nutrients profile of the food.
And I have one more. So most people have this kind of blender, right? You have one
Yeah.
of those?
A food processor, yeah.
Yeah. Rubber cup. So if you if you're really, let's just say time crunch. I don't want to say if you're lazy because that's a nice. But if you're in a time crunch, yeah, what you do
Mhm.
is you put everything in there. So you can put the onions in there, you can put garlic in there, and put the cauliflower in there.
Okay.
And then from there, all you need to do is just make it one step. I toasted first the spices, then the onions, and the cauliflower.
Yeah.
You can do it in one step in a pinch.
Okay. Okay. What would we miss though? Just out of curiosity, if we did it all in one step, would we miss something
The
special?
sweetness of the onions, right? The onions release a lot more flavor if you just toast them a little bit.
Okay.
So normally in French cooking, you cook them more brown, and
Okay.
the browning of it gives you the roasted flavor, right?
Okay.
But it would taste very raw. I said
Mm,
it's just a light change. Most people won't notice it, right? This is definitely the right way to do it.
okay.
But in a pinch, it will work the other way too. I would just cook it a little bit longer. Your nose will tell you if the onions are cooked enough.
Hmm. So what if someone has trouble, like let's say they had COVID and they've lost the sense of smell, or their sense of smell isn't as good as it
Don't
should.
get
Is
COVID.
there another way? Get COVID.
Don't get
Well,
COVID. Now I have a
yeah.
recipe coming up.
So the
So I
recipe's
think
up.
that that should really work. But
Okay.
I also wanted to actually ask you because, the dish, I don't want to take that all the time off from the listeners here. If you had your tips. So, we spoke about these various professors, Mario Kratz, for example, who recommends right after you have your meal, you should exercise to lower your
Yeah. Your
blood
blood
sugar
sugar.
spikes.
Mhm.
And you have your own regimen. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, so there's a few different things that you can do. So what Martin's saying is what we call a postprandial blood sugar level, and so that just means fancy way of saying what is your blood sugar after you eat. And so what you're going to see in someone who is very insulin sensitive or doesn't have any blood sugar issues is that it'll come up, typically around 15 to 20 minutes. It'll peak, and then it'll come on down over the course of an hour to 2 hours. Right, that it'll come up then down. It doesn't go really high, it doesn't come down really fast, but you'll just see this kind of nice little, like a rolling hill effect, right? So that's when you're looking at what we call continuous glucose um, monitor, like you'll see the little graph. Now, the thing that's important after eating, some people who are more insulin resistant, and they may not even been diagnosed with prediabetes yet, right? What you'll see here is their fasting blood sugar might start trending upward, but their fasting insulin is high. So, meaning your body's having to produce more insulin to control bring down that blood sugar. So what we want to do is there any way outside of using insulin to bring our sugars down? Yes. And that's using those big muscles, those skeletal muscles. So this is what we call insulin independent glucose uptake. So what's happening is when you use your muscles, like you're walking or you're doing some resistance training, the muscles go, wow, we need some blood sugar now to make it more energy. So it brings up those basically little transporters. It grabs hold of glucose and pulls it back in, independent of insulin. So which is fantastic. So that walking, what you'll see, I'll tell people typically wait around 15 minutes after your last bite, just because you want to give your body a chance for that blood sugar, the food that you're eating to make it into your bloodstream. go for a 10-15 minute walk. And it can be even shorter if you're short on time. It could be walking around the house. It could be on your stationary bike. It could be anything. But what's happening, the main thing is one, intensity will actually drop it further. So meaning if you're moving a little bit faster, you'll see a bigger drop because, of course, you're recruiting more muscle fibers, you're moving your body a little faster, but also the duration, right? So when the moment you stop walking, you'll see that bump up, but it should trend back down over time, but it won't be as high as it was when you started because you've used up some blood sugar, unless you started walking, you ate a really quick meal, had a high glycemic load, and it hadn't digest. You went walking really quickly, and basically what you may see is the blood sugar spike a little bit because it just hadn't fully gotten into your system yet. So
So
again, you can look at the different
I
patterns.
have to ask you out of the curiosity here.
Yeah.
So basically, you can take up glucose without the insulin
Yep.
during that time.
Exercise.
Is that the thing, or you
Anytime.
just need less insulin, or how does that?
I'm sorry?
When you're exercising, when you're
Yeah.
exercising, your muscles take out the glucose, the blood sugar, without the insulin.
Yep, when you're exercising. Now, after you're eating, of course, insulin is telling your muscle to take it up as well. So this is another mechanism to get extra glucose out of your system. That's why you'll see the glucose just be here and then it drops with exercise and then it bumps right back up the moment you stop. And it's pretty quick. And you'll see it on the glucose monitor. The other thing is very fascinating. Some people in our group, we provided them with CGMs. The group doesn't provide, but as a physician, I can prescribe it to people in the United States if they want that. What's interesting is they found resistance training drops the blood sugar even further than just walking. And if they're outside looking at the light. So I had one person, it's like, there's something, she goes, I tested myself. She has a CGM. She goes, I tested myself eating the same meal, doing just a walk, and then doing the same meal, doing resistance training, also getting morning light, different things. But morning light, resistance training really made a big difference, better than just the walk by itself. So there's that. You are going to be using more muscle fibers, so that makes more sense. And then the resistance training, of course, is building more muscle, which makes it even better. So the next time that you walk, you're
It's a
exercising, you'll have more
win-win.
muscles. It's
And
it's
then eat the cauliflower, the soda up front, and you're good to go. No problem.
right, and because then your blood sugar is not going to even spike as high. So which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
All
That's
right.
excellent.
Yes.
Well, I wish I could go on and on today, but we're here in Austria. I gotta actually eat something. Got some food waiting for me
Is
here.
it? Yeah, but I do want to say real quickly, you had a few fans here I want to share with you. Phyllis Sika says, I love that you both are partnered. Also enjoyed Martin's cooking in Aspen for years. So there you go.
Phyllis is here. Hi, Phyllis.
Aspen
How are
night.
you? Oh my God, that's wonderful. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen it ever.
Yes, and Denise is asking, she's actually in our culinary healing group. Can this dish be used with broccoli instead of cauliflower?
Yes, but you're gonna lose the chlorophyll. It's gonna look more brownish if you don't watch it, right? So I wouldn't add any lemon juice to that because that, for example, will change it. I haven't done too many with because it turns brown, right?
Yeah,
So it's just like a little bit different. I really like the cauliflower. It adapts to anything. You can put tomatoes in there and
yeah,
whatever you like. It also looks a little bit like rice. It's easy to sell.
right.
But the old beans, use the broccoli if you like. I mean, I wouldn't then necessarily think of it as a risotto per se, right? But
Mhm.
go ahead and try it. There's no wrong, especially because the blood sugar is really going to stay low when you eat this kind of product.
Right, absolutely. And don't be afraid to experiment in the kitchen, right? I think people get afraid to even experiment in the kitchen. It's
I think
okay.
that's the key, really, right?
Yeah.
It's not so rigid, right? Everybody thinks like all these authentic foods and the food history and all this stuff. And then everybody tells me, oh, well, in Italy, the whatever pizza and pasta and pomodoro sauce and whatever. And I'm like, well, there wasn't even any tomatoes in Italy until a few hundred years ago. What's the point of that, right? What's
Right.
this sticking to the short-term historic cooking? That makes no
Right.
sense. We're living in an age where everybody's overweight. Everybody has diabetes or has something like I had deposited little plaques in my arteries, right? So We each have to individually deal and eat towards what our needs are.
Right. Right.
Why turn the clock back? It makes no sense to me. So,
Right. And we live in a different world than we did even 2, 300, 400 years ago. So you're exactly right. The health of our the human body is it's really struggling right now. But everybody can benefit from eating more vegetables and eating lower glycemic foods. So there's that. So, well, thank you, Martin, for this awesome time and learning. I'm going to go make some risotto now with cauliflower because I have some in my fridge.
well,
I,
thanks for hosting me. Next time I'll host you. We'll see if we can figure it out. Try
yes.
figure it out.
No, I
Yeah,
apparently didn't get the invitation. We were going to do this on Chef Martin's, but darn it. But it's okay. We will post this. I will post this on,
I gotta
we'll post
learn.
on
I
both
gotta
of
learn.
ours.
Well, thank you so much again. It's been
Okay.
so much fun, and we'll do it again sometime. See how
Yes,
everybody thinks. Please let us know
absolutely.
what everybody's watching, what you're thinking. If you want to see a dish, we can do that. Is this a great combination for everybody? Should
Yes.
we change the format? You just want to, I can just show food, whatever works
Mhm.
for you guys. The idea is to give you a few quick tips from my cooking side.
Yes. So when this posts in a little bit later today, please put any comments, just like Martin said, anything
You're
that you'd
getting
like
all
to
these
see.
hearts. Look at these hearts you're getting.
People,
Hello. Thank you so much for the hearts.
people are loving it. No, I loved it. So I think we could keep doing it just for my own benefit, but there's that. So, all right. Well, thanks
Thank you,
again, Martin.
guys.
We
Thanks
appreciate
everybody
you.
for watching. Appreciate
Okay.
it. Have a good
Bye.
evening. Okay. Bye bye.